We in fact are in the race industry by virtue of owning the property called Laguna Seca.
It's really kind of the fabric, the thread of this whole facility. You know, it was built in 1957, and by some men and women who bandied together after the Pebble Beach racing was done, and created something here very special.
It's really the gem of our county. Back in 1957, this facility was built by a group of volunteers who were into racing and had outworn, so to speak, the welcome at Pebble Beach.
In '56, which was the last Pebble Beach race in the forest, and I raced there. And Ernie McAfee was killed in a Ferrari going down the straight. In the back, he missed a gear shift and he slammed into a tree and wrapped a car around the tree. So it was decided, I think it was, they said ipso facto, that they were not going to race in the forest anymore. It's just getting too dangerous. It was hard to protect the spectators and the entrance and so forth with all those trees. And when you're racing cars, you're putting yourself in danger always. And SCRAMP was formed, Sports Car Racing Association of the Monterey Peninsula. And they were really the engine, the main driving force that negotiated with the Sixth Army for the use of the land at Fort Ord. My task when I got out of the Air Force with the Sports Car Club of America was to introduce the world to the idea of Laguna Seca. We called it Pebble Beach Road Races at Laguna Seca Lake. That was the name of the event. So we even carried that over. We got 65,000 people down there. And you go, what? Fort Ord, where is that? Laguna Seca, what is that? You know, Pebble Beach, oh yeah, we remember, that's where that guy got killed. You know, put him all together. And voila. We were just amazed that we got all those people.
And in 1974, the county, in fact, obtained the deed because the Army or the federal government wanted to get out of the business of owning land that was a racetrack. So the county was deeded the property. At that time, the county Parks Department took over control of the property and worked with that group of volunteers in order to further the racing as you see it today.
There's been a lot of racing history here, from four-wheel to two-wheel. A lot of great world champions and U.S. national champions have raced here. It's always been the track that's talked about at the very top in the U.S. and now it's in the world. So it has a lot of history, and it's still producing that history.
I can remember being down there or late '56, early '57. A bunch of us were there. I remember driving out to Laguna Seca in the fog one morning. We had our headlights on in there. We came up on a ridge, and we've been driving through this world of nothingness, and the fog was lifting, and there was the bowl that was to become known as Laguna Seca, which means dry lake, and there was the dry lake. SCRAMP people told us where they thought the course was going to go and so forth and so on. Most, if not all, race courses in the country were clockwise. Most of them, if not all, were on airports. But we were up on a ridge, and there I was looking at where the course was going to go. And of course, they were thinking clockwise. Well, as you know, the course with the corkscrew up at the top, if you went clockwise, you can't drive up the hill to the corkscrew. You know, it's not safe. It isn't going to work. So we had to reverse it, and we made it counterclockwise. But that's the beginning of the design and the layout. And going back to 1957, it was one of maybe 2 or 3 road courses in the country. All these courses were flat. They were all on airports, featureless. This had everything. It had the ups and the downs and the change of elevations, left and rights. And it was just a magic place for all of us who were pretty much neophytes at this activity. We're just following our bliss, you know. We just wanted to get out there and drive these cars. We all thought we were good. Of course, the older you get, the better you were, so I got to be careful to not let my ego show too much here, but I was pretty good.
The thing that was different about Laguna Seca was the straightaways are short and some corners are tight, and some corners are very fast off camber and banked. So it's on a motorcycle that is very challenging for the rider. It's really easy to get it wrong. So I got it right though 3 times in a row.
Well, it has very fond memories for me, and particularly I have a picture at home with standing in the winner's circle and Paul Newman coming up and congratulating me. And that had a special connotation to it as well, because I drove for Paul when his team was based here and knew him very well. So it was just, and for him and for me to win the championship here and to be congratulated by Paul here just added that little extra flavor to the win.
Well, I think Laguna Seca, because the corners are so different each corner is different from each other, there's a sweet spot. And that's not often you can find a sweet spot at a racing circuit. But when I raced here, I was able to find that sweet spot, and it wasn't very difficult for me to produce results here. But I read, and a lot of my competitors struggled here because they were maybe they were overriding the track or not going fast enough in the proper parts of the corner, and it was a real challenge. So this is not an easy track to win at, but I had a lot of success here, so I don't know why, but I didn't think about the reasons why I won so much. I was just glad they didn't figure it out.
Well, I think the track has been pretty iconic for a long time. It's changed some over the years. Turn 2 and 3 used to be a little bit different, and the hairpin that's behind me was shorter, so you'd come out of turn 11 a little bit different, and then the hairpin was a little tighter. The guardrail was up against it a little closer, and we raced Can-Ams during that period. Fantastic track, and then they just developed it and expanded it and made it even better. And I think the main reason for the iconic, again, the corkscrew's important, but the layout of the track, the challenges for a driver, and then the whole area around the track and everything that it encompasses.
I'm a resident here of Monterey. I had a lot of success here. I felt Laguna Seca and my racing career collided, and this was a very high-level racetrack. I was racing at the highest level motorcycle racing series in the world. I'd won the world championship 3 years in a row, won this race 3 years in a row. Everybody here at Scramp and at the racetrack in the county thought that they would honor me by naming turn 9 Rainy Curve. So I'm very honored by that for sure. Right after the corkscrew is Rainy Curve. So me personally, I like that corner the best because it's a left-hand downhill corner. It's very challenging on a motorcycle, and I loved going through there every time.
It's an amazing property, and indeed I'm very focused on the business aspects of it, but in coming out here and making sure we're monitoring the business, I've had an occasion to drive just about everywhere throughout the park, and the views at different spots are spectacular. You have views of the ocean from one area. You have views of the Salinas Valley and the grandeur of all of the farming in the Salinas Valley from another area. Another area, you look over into Carmel Valley. It's an amazing viewpoints all around the track, including obviously looking down to the track itself. The property is amazing. If you ever get a chance, you definitely just want to come out on one of our quiet days that's just a normal track rental day and just drive around the track and hike up a couple of the hills and see some of the views. You'll be astounded at the different views from the Big Sur area over to the Santa Cruz area to the Salinas Valley at different points in this park that you'll be able to see.
I think what was unique for me was coming here for the very first time and experiencing what Laguna Seca was and the Monterey Peninsula and everything that encompasses this area. You know, everything from the aquarium on up, just the hospitality, the people, the food, the weather, the views. That was what made it all special.
Mitigate as much as we possibly can off Highway 68 to use South Boundary as our entrance and exit. We don't permit cars out on Thursday and Friday nights after 3 o'clock just to avoid all the traffic on 68. We have sound restrictions. We play well with our neighbors as best we can. We let them know. We have a conversation. So it's not just we're doing this event, you know, leave town if you don't like noise. So we do work hand in hand with everybody and all the departments, you know, CHP, the county, and everyone like that really has a stake in what we do here.
And we also put ads in the newspaper so they know when things are coming up. You know, they know what the loud days are going to be for the year and things like that. So I think we're the best possible neighbor we can be, knowing that we are going to have some inconvenient times for our neighbors.
So roughly 2.5 years ago, right in the beginning of the 2017 season, the county took a very active management role in the facility. Prior to that time, the parks were here and they've done some events and they've done some maintenance of the facility, but it was kind of a shared responsibility. In 2017, the county took full ownership of all of the events, as well as the track management, the facility management, and the upgrades. And in the last 2 years, we've been actively involved in improving the facility's appearance, its infrastructure, and its offerings to the community, both local and national and international.
We were so pleased when we heard that the Indy Series was coming back to Laguna Seca Raceway, because it's what the hospitality industry calls really quality business. It is a big boom to all of it's not only the hotels and the restaurants. When you have an event like Indy, all of the businesses, the fringe businesses as well as just the hotels benefit.
And our events current lineup is quite evolved in the fact that we have, you know, an international event, World Superbike, that takes place here. We also have the IndyCar races, which have returned after a 15-year hiatus, and as well as sort of the centerpiece, which is the Rolex reunion, which takes place during Car Week. And if you've ever been to Monterey during Car Week, you would understand that the Monterey Peninsula is a very car-centric area.
The motorcycles and cars, it's a given. It just goes with a racetrack. So it's easy to think that's all we do. Sea Otter is a great example because we do it all. It's probably the largest it's ever been, the most vendors, you know, the most participants, most spectators, and they are one event that grows and grows and grows.
In fact, the facility itself on an everyday basis has what we deem as the track rental program. You can have anywhere from 20 to 200 people in here doing testing, whether it's local magazines, national magazines, car racing magazines, manufacturers, such as Mercedes-AMG program does schools out here. We have driving schools, we have go-kart races out here. There's a diversity of folks that come and enjoy this facility throughout the year. Since 1957, what you see is pretty much how it was in 1957 with some small infrastructure improvements. But in fact, it is preserving this facility and this property for generations to come.
The track is, and it's a challenge to drive, and it is iconic, and the corkscrew is such a challenge. But I think the whole area, the Monterey Peninsula, is what enhances the experience.
Now I run Moto America, which is the U.S. Superbike Racing Championship, and we look forward each year. We come back here in July, so I'll keep coming back here for as long as I live. That's for sure.